Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at a German brand called Manufaktur Waldhoff. I've reviewed one of their watches previously. This model is the Capital Obsidian. Now, one thing particularly intrigued me with this, and that is watches under the £500, $500 mark tend to always use the same few movements. You know, you see so much Miyotas, so many Seikos as well. However, this one has something a little bit different. It offers 80 hours power reserve as well. So at the RRP of $439 or around £335, I thought it just provided something a little bit different, which was quite intriguing. So let's start the unboxing process. So we got rid of that outer sleeve. We then have this rather nice box with the Waldhoff Germany plaque on top. As you can see, classic wood styling. Open it up. Underneath the top we have a little warranty card, some various information on there, nice little polishing cloth as well, little tag. There's a section under here which doesn't have anything. I expect that's where if you were to buy extra straps will go in there. And then we have the watch in question. So as you can see, a very, very unusual skeletonized style dress watch. So that completes the unboxing process, and as you can see, you know, fairly nice, fairly good attention to detail to the boxing, and we'll move all of that over here. Let's have a look at the watch itself then. So as you can see, very, very unusual, nice, different style skeleton watch, because as I mentioned, you know, they all tend to use the same kind of movement, whereas this one's using something a little bit different. So along with that, it does come with a nice different design to it. So we've discussed the price already, $439, £335 that is. Is it a good watch for money? Well, let's discuss the specs to get us started with. Firstly, it's good to know that it is on the large side. It is 44mm in diameter with a height of 11.8mm. and then a lug-to-lug length of 50mm. So it is actually on the large side, especially when you consider, you know, that this is a dress watch. Obviously, modern watches tend to be a lot larger than you'd expect, so it's not necessarily a dress watch as you'd imagine from a historical perspective. It's definitely a modern dress watch because of the size. Weight is 87 grams, so it is fairly lightweight on the wrist, fairly easy to wear because of that as well, you know, in terms of comfort. It's all dial as well. As you can see, we've got a very thin bezel to it, you know, maybe just like between 1 to 2 millimeters. So it is quite impressive to look at. It does create quite a large amount of wrist presence as well because of the sheer size of the watch. Not only that, but also because it is pretty much all dial. The lug width, to go with the slightly larger case, it is 22mm as well. Again, very modern, not necessarily a historical kind of dress watch, but it is definitely, you know, it's the right size, right width for the size of the case. You get a 2-year warranty, and it's got 50 meters water resistance or 5 atmospheres. So don't take it raining, don't take it swimming, but it does give you a small measure of protection. So moving on to the movement itself, the Hangzhou 7500. So it did take me a little bit of digging to find out which movement it was, because they don't specify that, but I did have a dig around and I did find out that it was this movement, the Hangzhou 7500. Great specs, 80 hours power reserve. It's got a high beat, runs at a high beat of 28.8 thousand beats per hour, 21 joules, hacking seconds hand, and hand wind and automatic winding as well. Really, really good specifications, and as you can see, it looks pretty nice as well. Obviously, when we look at it even closer with the macro lens, we'll be able to determine that, you know, even better. However, from a glance, you know, it's a really, really nice, smart looking movement, and I'm surprised I don't see it more often, to be completely honest. The 80-hour power reserve is a wicked plus, because I don't know about you, but you know, 40 hours can seem sometimes, when you've got a number of watches in your collection, you know, when you want to come back to a watch, it's already stopped. But with an 80-hour power reserve, obviously you have those extra, nearly 2 extra days where it will continue ticking away without wearing it. So big plus for me, and it's just cool to have that slightly better spec as well. So if I just show you the back, so you can see here we've got a very, very nice style to the rotor as well, very stylized, and we have that really nice black bridging as well. So neat details, very, very nice to look at. And again, as I mentioned previously, it's kind of, you know, a level of detail that I wasn't necessarily expecting on a skeleton watch, because so often skeleton watches look pretty cheap and tacky in the affordable market, you know, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so that's the specs discussed. Now let's think about the watch in section by section. So starting off with the dial. Obviously the dial is pretty much all about this funky movement and the open bridges and everything else that it provides. So you can see here we have our nice balance wheel located at 6, ticking away. It gives you sort of a faux tourbillon kind of impression, which I personally really like. I think it's ticking away nicely, and I just love skeleton movements. I love seeing everything tick away as well. The black works really well. I think it looks really cool, and then sort of the bronze kind of cogs and stuff like that pulls in a nice amount of colour to the dial as well. There may be a case of, as with the case of any skeleton watch, you know, a little bit of a legibility issue, because the hands are nice. I really like the pointy arrow dauphine shape, and they are pitched as well, so they reflect the light nicely, and they are, you know, loomed as well. But dials on skeleton watches are always very, very busy, so there is always a measure of difficulty in reading the watch at a glance. However, you know, when you compare this to some others, I think it's perfectly reasonable, and I don't necessarily find any issues or any faults for me. Obviously we have that massive barrel at the top as well at 6. That's where the 80 hours power reserve is stored. Bigger than usual, but again, nice to be in a different position. Completely, you know, different movement to any other movement that I've ever reviewed. So it's nice to see these different things going on. Apart from, you know, the movement itself, we have a sapphire crystal, so that's quite nice and clear. But we have around the outside a minute track with all these hour markers and the little logo applied on the top as well. The depth of them could be better, I'm not going to lie. I really like thick, chunky hour markers when they're applied, and these are probably a little bit on the light side. However, they still look nice to look at anyway. So another nice feature is the little Waldhoff logo used as the seconds counterweight, so that's a nice little touch as well. Finally, it says made in Germany. Now this is quite an intriguing label. You know, when you think of something that's Swiss made, it has to use a Swiss movement. Made in Germany, that label doesn't have the same laws. So the Hangzhou 7500 movement is obviously a Chinese movement with a name like that. There's no denying it. So how can they put, you know, made in Germany when it's got a Chinese movement in it? Well, as long as it's assembled in Germany, that's all that matters. They just don't have the same rules and regulations as Swiss made. So, you know, it's not as if they're cheating you. They are still working within the limits of having that made in Germany label. So, you know, at least you know that there is a measure of higher level of craftsmanship and quality, being that it is assembled in Germany, and, you know, everything that, you know, synonymously comes along with that label. So really interesting, really intriguing dial. Obviously all about that movement, which is, you know, no problem at all. And it's cool that it's, you know, a slightly different movement used. That's one of the key features that I really, really like, because I don't know about you, but sometimes it can be pretty boring to see the same old movements over and over again. So this is quite welcome to me. Moving on to the case then. So nothing too extravagant about the case. It's fully polished apart from one ring on the case back. And it is pretty much a straight up barrel apart from a few little lines, bits of detailing, which is good because it does split up an otherwise very, very boring case. The lug's fairly slender, quite long as well. Obviously it is on the large side, but with it being polished, just be careful you don't knock it because it will damage quite easily or pick up scratches very easily as well. But then again, you know, it is a dress watch, so it's sort of expected. The crown is a push-pull crown, and it has the Waldhoff logo reasonably neatly engraved on the end there. Not to incredible depth, but it's good to see it. It's good to see the detail that's been put into it, so that's nice. Easy to use as well, so, you know, it's easy to pull out, easy to set, easy to wind as well, so that's good. Moving on to the case back, obviously the ring is polished as I mentioned before, and then we have these various specs. engraved into that brush ring. And then we have the movement itself, exhibition window showing off the movement very nicely. Good clarity on that, and you can see there how nice and see-through the movement is. You know, you can see right through it, which is very, very cool. Moving on to the strap then. It's probably the most disappointing part of the watch, to be honest. It's very, very average, very forgettable. Quality, you know, again, it is apparently, you know, it says genuine leather. That is just a label at the end of the day. Not too supple. It just doesn't feel that amazing, to be brutally honest. One thing that I do like though is the effort they put into the buckle. Got the Waldhoff logo engraved on the side there. It's fully polished to match the case, and then, you know, you have these little corners nipped out and a little ridge as well. Nice amount of detail put on there. But apart from that, you know, it's a fairly average strap. I mean, it will do the job, but it's not a case of, oh yeah, I really like this. It's it looks great, and, you know, it feels comfortable on. I think that's probably the one area where they could have improved. Okay, so let's get the macro lens on and have a look at it in even closer detail. So starting off with our dial then, you can see right at the top we have this outer ring with a concentric circular pattern on it. We have a Waldhoff logo, nice little applied shield there. Moving around, we then are introduced to our hour markers, again applied, but as I mentioned previously, a little bit on the light side. And then if we move on to the movement itself, you can see a very nice big large barrel which contains the 80 hours power reserve. A few other little cogs ticking away, our open heart just there as well, which is very nice. And our hands pitched dauphines, you can see there even up close, looking pretty nice and smart. There's our Waldhoff logo for the seconds counterweight, which again is a nice little touch as well. So yeah, very nice close attention to detail. You know, there's little aspects which could probably be done a little bit better. However, you know, I don't want to complain too much considering the price. Moving on to the case then. Very straightforward case, you know, just polished basically with these ridges as I mentioned previously. Good finishing, a little bit chromy if you ask me. I don't know, there's sometimes you get that kind of chromy feel, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but here's the crown. The logo, again, quite nice, accurately embossed on the end there. Decent grip on the crown itself as well. Moving on to the case back, so we have the Waldhoff detailing engraved around the outside on that brushed ridge. Then if I give that case back a little wipe, here's our movement. You can see there the detailing on that rotor is very nice to see. And then the underside, again, we've got these cool black bridges. If I just flip it around so we can see through. There we go. So nice, unusual movement that I think is, you know, what this watch is all about really. Then moving on to the strap, is our alligator print, a matte finish rather than a patent, which I personally prefer, which is a good thing. And on the other side we have this Manufaktur Waldhoff embossed on the bottom of it. And then finally, moving on to the buckle, see there we've got our nice little badge engraved on the buckle, which again, you know, is nice design, nice attention to detail on that as well. Okay. So, do I like the Manufaktur Waldhoff Capital Obsidian? I do, and the reason why I do is because it's different. It uses a different movement to all the other skeleton watches out there. You know, that movement alone comes with extra decent specs as well. High beat rate, high beat rate of 28.8 thousand beats per hour, 80-hour power reserve as well. But also it comes with, you know, it just looks good out of the box for, you know, secondly as well. So I think for the price, you know, under $500, $439, around £335, I think it is a really good option to consider for, you know, those of you who are after a skeleton watch which is different, because there's no doubt about it, it is, and that is the main thing going for it, and that is why I like it so much. You know, I see so many watches, not only that I review, but you know, also that I just see around, and it's refreshing. It is genuinely refreshing to see something a little bit different, and I think that is why this is such a nice watch and good for your consideration. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also comment your thoughts on the video below. So this was the Manufaktur Waldhoff Capital Obsidian, and I'll see you around next time. Thank you for watching, guys. See ya, bye-bye.